was first told about this, I and was asked for a reaction to it. I wanted to check out whether it was taken out of context, whether it was a joke, not a very good joke, but some kind of joke. And so before I reacted to it, I went to check and looked at the full video. And what's clear is that it wasn't a joke, that it wasn't out of context, that it was incitement to violence against members of Parliament. And I think that in that context, their apology is not enough. The way that they have apologised is to say that it was taken out of context, that the reason that they are being called out for it is because they have outspoken views on other issues. Simply not the case. The reason they're being called out for it is because they have incited violence against sitting members of Parliament, and that is not acceptable. I think had they done the right thing and apologised fulsomely and not tried to explain it away, I would have had some understanding that, youthful exuberance or whatever else. But I think their lack of depth in their apology, I think, is unfortunate.
Artists are allowed to have a political agenda, and you can agree with it, you cannot agree with it. Often it is wrapped up in groups' art. But you feel that they've got this completely wrong. Like you said, they've tried to explain it away. There doesn't seem to be any explanation that will stand for you or the Amess family.
Yeah, and it's not just about the sort of, the personal impact of it. I'm responding to this less because I'm sort of personally offended by it, and more because this is the wrong thing and an outrageous thing to say, and it sullies our politics. And that they have a responsibility, that they have increasing popularity. I'd heard about them before this. They're increasing popularity, increasing platform, and with that comes a responsibility. And their radicalism in their politics is, again, something entirely for them, and they're entirely legitimate in exercising their views, whether that's about Gaza or about what they see as the British occupation of Northern Ireland. Entirely legitimate conversations to have and to be very outspoken on. But in, I think, trying to cultivate that reputation for radicalism, I think they have overstepped the mark in a frankly grotesque way. And what that has done is it's put them on the wrong side of people who might agree with them on lots of those issues. They might agree with them on the future of Northern Ireland. They might agree with them on the Irish language. They might agree with them on Gaza. But in inciting violence against members of Parliament, they have crossed the line into incitement, into driving political hatred, and that isn't acceptable. And again, as I say, had they done that as a one-off and they then came back and fulsomely apologised and didn't try to explain it away and suggested it was taken out of context or that this was some sort of establishment attack on them, I think we could be more understanding and more accepting of that apology. I think the fact that they haven't done that and they have tried to excuse themselves from it, I think is unfortunate and is a mistake. So I hope in this next period that they will take the opportunity to more genuinely accept that they have made a major mistake.
Is that the next step for you then, Brendan? Do you want a personal apology? Have they reached out to your family? This has been their public response. And as you've
I don't want a personal apology at all. I don't take this personally. I take this as a attack on our political system, an attack on our democracy.
So you want a better apology?
I want an apology which actually genuinely reflects on the fact that what they are trying to do in their language is to incite attacks against members of Parliament who are democratically elected. And that is not acceptable. And it's not acceptable whether you're someone like me who has gone through the experience of losing someone that they love, or whether you're someone that just believes in the democracy that we have and that we sustain and that we need to build together. So it's not about I have no desire for a personal apology, but what I do want them to do genuinely is to wrestle with their conscience about the way that they talked about this. And I hope that it is a genuine mistake, that it is a desire to appear radical and they got too excited on stage and they said something stupid and wrong. And that they, if so, that they genuinely apologise for that and say, that was stupid, that was wrong, it was unforgivable, and we apologise. And I would accept that apology. But an apology that is saying that they were taken out of context and it's an establishment stitch-up isn't really an apology, I don't think.
Yeah, you want them to understand it reassess, get it right, and move on, because there have now been calls for the group to be cancelled, calls for the group to be dropped from Glastonbury this summer. Eden Project have cancelled a gig they had scheduled for them in July. Also calls for them to be banned from radio playlists. Kemi Badenoch says she wants them banned full stop. Where do you stand on all of that?
I think it all depends on how they respond in the next few days and the next few weeks. I think I have a lot of understanding for people that make mistakes and do things that they regret, and then genuinely apologise for those things and see the error of their ways. And if that is the case with this band, then I think, in the tradition that is great about our country at times, that we forgive people for things that they've done where they've made mistakes and they've made errors, but that has to be a genuine remorsefulness. There has to be a genuine commitment not to do it again, and I think an account of what has changed in their thinking. I think the thing that is worrying is that, of course, there's the comments that they've made specifically about MPs, Tory MPs, in particular, but they've also been accused of talking about Hamas, talking about Hezbollah in positive terms. And that suggests, I think, an undercurrent in their thinking, which is more supportive of violence in our politics. And I think that is, more of a concern, and suggests a pattern of behaviour, which they, if they want to continue to have any public profile, has to change and has to stop now.